Part 2 of Love's Mystery, God and Buddha, or why excessive gratitude is madness. What we call the primary narcissistic wound is even deeper, more sensitive, and more full of despair than the secondary wound we have just described. It is our feeling of being wounded by the divine. Why have you forsaken me? When this deep crisis occurs, another kind of love needs to come. Because God has written on his own heart Rahma. This is the kind of love needed to heal this primary wound. The primary narcissism comes from feeling wounded by the divine, that as a soul, as a being, you feel I'm not loved by God. That must be why God put me in all these difficulties. There must be something wrong with me. I have failed and feel hurt about it. The wound from the humanity is a secondary hurt. Even thought it is very devastating for a child, it is a secondary hurt. The primary hurt comes when a person turns to God and says, okay, I understand how my family and society have made me suffer, but why are you persecuting me? You are supposed to be the all-compassionate. There must be something about me that is so bad that it makes you reject me, makes you not protect me or not giving me divine mercy. The deep human condition is asking for something that only the manifestation of the essential love, the Rahma, can offer. I recommend invoking Ya Rahim. Its quality has a total substantiality of the inherent love in the heart of God, and at the same time no quality could be gentler. The Rahma touches a wound that no human can touch. Only the divine can touch it. It is interesting to observe that Ar-Rauf and Ya Rahim appear together everywhere as a pair. We have come to see that Ya Rauf is the antidote for the secondary narcissistic wound, and Ya Rahim is the antidote for the primary narcissistic wound. When both of these qualities of divine love are present, you become able to reach the unbearable tenderness in the human soul. Filled with this energy, you are so delicate, so gentle, that you can go through all the armaments and all the defenses. You can be the delicate feeder that touches the most unbearable wound inside. The wound in the soul that has humanity being screaming day and night. They definitely go together, Ya Rauf, Ya Rahim. Fully realizing them is what it means to be human. They are the most human attributes, if you will, of these divine mantras. Without their essence, humanity is lost. They are both mantras for love, different qualities of love, and they are very powerful when used in combination. We cannot reach such profound states simply by our own efforts. Such states are bestowed by grace. Spiritual work ultimately has to be crowned by grace. Something in the soul finds itself on the cross and must wait for that which is beyond all achievement. It is waiting for the appearance of divine love. Ar-Rauf is active in one sense, yet is always there on the inside. That's why we can't exactly work toward it. It is to be discovered. It comes from an essential place of the heart. Otherwise, it could not reach the hearts of others as it does, without a trace of attachment, resentment, or defensiveness. All of us need this Ya Rauf. If we resonate with this quality, it will respond to all our defensive layers of ego because its frequency is so gentle, just as water can melt rocks. If this stream is actively flowing, it will melt all our defensiveness. Prayerful repetition of Ya Rauf addresses the wound that we have received from the humanity. Our instinctive response to this wound may be to reproach ourselves for being blameworthy, or it may be to fill ourselves with spiritual pride. So repetition of Ya Rauf can be a great antidote for spiritual pride. Upon best, they are the homeopathics most important, all from the tuberculosis family. We don't have to forget that yearly more than 70 million people are dying on tuberculosis, and that's why the peak of the narcissistic wound is represented when the patient is not only Buddha, feels like God too. Buddha and God, the combination upon the puppets is the mantra Ya Shakur, thankfulness. The homeopathic is Datura stramonium, the devil's thorn, and the unresolved state, condition of the mind, which is disobedient, which is stubborn, is described by Shankaran in the homeopathy like the patient sitting alone in the wilderness, waiting for the grace. And it's well known, all the family of tuberculosis, of the remedies of tuberculosis, they are indicated for transgenerational traumata. It can be war, it can be colonization, all kinds of traumata, transgenerational. If you repeat the two mantras, no, I am not so much driven by the ego. The ego is beginning to slow down, beginning to relax, beginning to see that its patterns in life might be out of harmony. In the state of navigation between calling Ya Rauf is most useful. It touches the tenderness in you, the vulnerability in you. It touches your identification with the wound that makes you feel fail as a person. And if you repeat and you meditate with this, forgiveness spontaneously happens. The soul shows where it wants to journey. Ya Rauf enables you to pass through the extreme vulnerability of the feeling that you have failed the family mission. And the Rahma enables you to heal the innermost wound. Ya Rahim communicates that the divine never have forsaken you. For the primary narcissistic wound, the divine woundness, it may eventually be more suitable to wait in the silence with willing surrender for the response of divine love. It is relatively easy to write about the stages, but the concept is not the reality. To actually go through these advanced stages requires much dedicated work as well as divine grace. So, this is the presentation of the primary narcissistic wound. Upon best, the therapy with the classes of homeopathics from tuberculosis. The peak is the mantra Ashakur, the peak of narcissistic wound. Mantra Ashakur, homeopathic stramonium.